It says we're live.
All right, we're just going to roll with it, Lance. We're going to roll with it. We don't know what's going on, but we're hoping we're live, and we're hoping the people can see and hear us.
So I'm hoping that over 1,500 people just got alerted.
Yes. Make a comment. Let us know that you're there. Are you out there? We're here to talk about pro wrestling.
Pop out chat. This is really what we need.
All right, somebody leave a comment or chat, actually.
Connected viewers. Okay, so this right here will tell us.
We don't have any viewers,
We
right?
don't have any viewers yet. Well, we got to get Connie to try to. The key changed, so the link might have changed. Nothing to see here.
Oh, boy. If anybody is there, we are having technical difficulties. Oh, Lord. All right, we got a viewer. Yeah, it might be you. Now it went away. We got a viewer again. Well, dang. How y'all doing? So, Lance, tell me how this works. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be like posted on our page? Our YouTube channel after it's over?
Yeah, it just saves it as a regular video. When
so they're going to see all the technical problems we were having.
Yeah. Our Mike can edit it. I don't know.
We got 2 viewers, Lance. 2 viewers.
We got 2 now. Holy shit.
We don't even know how to react. One's like, y'all suck.
Oh, it's back to 1.
Back to 1.
Hang on, let me change it to my other account here.
Hey, if you're the 1 viewer, leave a comment. I think we have a comment. Do we have a comment, Lance? Oh, it's Connie. It's Lance's girlfriend. That's so sad.
Actually, that looks pretty good.
She says that's not sad, Lance.
That looks pretty good.
It does. I like it. Looks good.
Yeah.
We're back to 2 viewers. I guess the second one's you.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, you're viewing yourself. Yeah. That's even more sad.
I'm having to view myself.
Yeah. All right. So
there's such a delay.
That could be normal, Lance. That could be like, like when you watch wrestling live, there's a delay. There's even a several minute delay.
Yeah. That's not bad.
It's not bad. Let's just roll with it, Lance.
Okay.
Let's just roll with it.
Let's see if we can get some. Viewers first.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna roll with this like it's an actual episode, but this is live.
Yeah.
So we almost always censor something that I say from these episodes.
Yeah.
And should I look to the camera, or should I look at you, or should I do a little bit of both?
Whatever you want to do.
All right. So
we'll fill it out.
We don't know what we're doing here. This is our first time going live, and we're gonna get the hang of this.
Yeah.
So the deal is, we almost always censor something that I say in these videos that we make, and we censor out a lot of the things that's awkward or weird, or I just like, man, that'd be too much scandal if I was, saying that. Well, we're live, so we can't do that. So basically, it's going to be unfiltered, and I'm liable to say anything. So let's talk about Ricochet, Lance. Me and you have
hang on. Let's not start yet. I want to make sure that those alerts went out to our subscribers.
Okay.
Because I thought that happened by default. Hang on.
Yeah, we do want the subscribers to know that we are live.
Yeah.
We got 2 viewers. Who are the 2 viewers?
Me and Connie.
You and Connie. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got nobody viewing us right now.
Okay.
So I'm just like ready to just jump in and roll with it and just say, hey, whatever.
Hang on.
This is another thing that we edit out. This stuff, like figuring things out. This is our first time being live, so just bear with us here. It's going. Oh, we got 5 viewers, Lance. 5 viewers.
Whoa. Okay.
We got 5 viewers, so people are watching.
All right.
So we need to roll with it. We
have an audience.
We have an audience. All right.
Wait a minute. I wonder if the guy that likes Vince Russo was watching. Should we alert him?
I already told him that we were going live today.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Hopefully he'll be able
now we're down to 3.
Yeah. And they're like, man, these guys suck.
Okay. Hang on. So what this is saying is, users that have expressed an interest in your upcoming broadcast will be able to tap to get a notification when your stream begins. YouTube adds a new reminder button for upcoming live streams. Okay, why doesn't YouTube notify my... Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's a Reddit post. We still at 3?
Yeah, we're still at 3, so there's one person watching us besides y'all 2.
Yeah. So, okay, well, no, let's see.
Our one viewer, leave us a comment. Let us know you're there. Go in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back to 5, Lance.
Holy shit.
Lance, let's just go. Let's just go.
All right. Who wants to go?
Yeah. We're going. Okay. So my main thing that I want to talk about today
Yeah.
is Ricochet. Okay.
Yeah.
So as pretty much everybody knows, Ricochet was in the WWE. He's got an extensive indie career, Chikara, Lucha Underground, some other place I can't remember. You know, he wrestled all over the place. And now he's in the AEW, and he left WWE. His I don't know if it's his girlfriend, fiance, whatever, Samantha Irvin. She's still in the WWE.
Real quick, James and Alicia are watching.
James and Alicia are watching. They're one of
Thanks, guys.
We got 6 people now.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. All right. So, Ricochet is now in the AEW.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch his match?
I did watch the match.
The Kyle Fletcher match?
Kyle Fletcher.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Casino Battle Royal.
Okay.
Because I figured that wouldn't really show what was going on.
Right.
Okay. So me and you had a different interpretation of or a different outlook on his match with Kyle Fletcher. Okay.
Right.
And your comment that you sent to me was this match was great. It really showcased his abilities and all this.
Right.
And I said that the match was just your typical AEW jumping jacks. Okay. So that was the big difference between the two of us. So Lance, give me your thoughts first, and I'll elaborate on mine.
I mean, well, it's like I thought. I don't know. Look, Kyle Fletcher is a mid-carder in AEW, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if the WWE had anybody like him to match up with Ricochet.
No.
That's the thing. In AEW, they got a wealth of talent that can work with Ricochet and match his style. Not just his ability, but his style.
Right.
Okay, and they've already hinted at the Ospreay match, so we know that's going to happen.
Okay, here's my deal on that.
Yeah.
Ricochet was able to adapt his high-flying style to the WWE product successfully.
Right.
So he was able to wrestle in unique matches. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of a bad Ricochet match that I saw in the WWE. So I know this guy's a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
Y'all heard me complaining that the guy was leaving. I was whining. I was upset. I was crying at night. Ricochet, why would you leave us?
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, I watched his match in AEW, his first match in AEW. I wanted to see what was going to happen. Okay. And what I saw was the typical AEW jumping jack match. Okay.
It's the guy that likes Vince Russo. Now everybody knows his name.
Kayfabe kills for life.
Oh, Alicia. So, off top, but you've got folks watching in 3 states.
We got 5 viewers, 3 states, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee. So the guy that likes Vince Russo, if our other friends, y'all know who that is.
Yeah.
That's the guy that used to live in the house on stilts. Let's just put it that way. We don't say his name. We don't say his name, but that's who we're talking about when we say who the guy that likes Vince Russo.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to your question because that is a good question. But I want to finish talking about Ricochet first, and then we'll jump to that question.
Okay, that's good.
So, he comes to AEW. He wrestles against this guy named Kyle Fletcher, who I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
And he looked like a typical AEW indie mud show, wrestler. Weighs about 150 pounds. Which there was one thing that I did see in that match that I thought was different for Ricochet.
Okay.
I actually saw Ricochet pick up somebody and throw him around like a rag doll. You never get to see him do that in the WWE because everybody weighs over 200 pounds. But we got 6 viewers. Your cat's watching.
Yeah.
So the match was just your typical AEW garbage. And now, granted, and now there was a part of me that says, well, that just shows how good Ricochet is. He, once again, just like how he adapted. When I first saw Ricochet as Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, he was wearing a mask. I thought he was actually a Mexican wrestler. I thought he was a luchador. Okay, so Ricochet is so good that he could wrestle as a luchador. He could wrestle in the WWE and put on great matches against people in various styles in that match. He can come to AEW and do their mud show indie garbage. Okay, so he can adapt his style to wherever he goes. But it made me sad. I was like, okay, he's just doing another jumping AEW mud show indie jumping jack wrestling match. And I'm just like, they're doing the same things, the Spot Fest and the Brain Busters and the same old tired moves you see in every single indie style match. And I was just like, Ricochet, you're better than this. Please do something. Do something. And I was disappointed. I had a bad taste in my mouth. The whole thing just led me sick to my stomach, and I had to run to the restroom really fast. Okay, and that was my first match. And the only thing I can think about is this is Kyle Fletcher's 15 minutes of fame. He'll never in his life get to say he did anything better in his career other than wrestle against Ricochet for 10 minutes and his debut match. And that's Kyle Fletcher. The rest of his career is going to be nothing. Okay? Who is Kyle Fletcher? He's the guy that wrestled Ricochet in his debut match. So that is who Kyle Fletcher is. Lance, you got any comments?
I think what you need to accept is that while he was in WWE, he was a outlaw mud show wrestler trapped in WWE and forced to conform to their ways. Now he's free. He's free to do outlaw mud show.
I don't want to see that. I don't. Okay, we got another question.
Okay, so what we got?
Should we continue on Ricochet or should we move on to the questions?
Let's jump to the questions real quick. So what was the first question?
So the first question comes from the guy that likes Vince Russo.
Okay.
He says, how do y'all, and then we got one from James.
Okay.
How do y'all think Raw's move to Netflix will affect televised pro wrestling going forward? Okay.
That's a pretty good question. Likes Vince Russo.
Yeah, that is. I thought it was good too. He texted to me. I said, no, you got to send it to us in the comments of the actual stream. We need comments in the actual stream. So my thought on that is, I don't know if there's any other subscription to Netflix, but from my understanding, all Netflix subscriptions don't involve advertisers. Is that correct? There's not like Hulu where you can get like a ad version of
Okay. So this is what I expect. Now, the first thing was a headline I saw yesterday or the day before that said they're planning on Raw to be 2 hours and commercial free. Now, there won't be commercials, but I do expect advertisements. Okay, because I still think, like when they come back from commercial break, they do the whole Raw's presented by Snickers or something like that. You're probably still going to get that sort of thing.
Okay, so
but not commercials. But what you probably are going to see is a lot of commercials for their upcoming pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That's probably what they're going to fill the commercial time with.
Okay, so there's going to be some commercials still.
Yeah.
But not like random TV commercials that are not necessarily sponsoring the WWE. They're just sponsoring the USA Network.
Yeah. It's going to be like, remember a few times they've done a commercial-less Raw. And really what they did was fill it with like WWE commercials. I think it's going to be that.
And WWE sponsors.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense to me, because I was wondering how they were going to do that. Now, if they can free themselves, because one of the problems that wrestling's always faced is network sponsors getting pissed off that the wrestlers are doing things that they don't like. And so we're going to pull our, like, you know, baby wipe commercial. Okay. So, you know, baby wipes is probably not something a lot of wrestling fans are going to be buying in bulk. Okay.
Well, I don't know. It depends.
It depends. I don't know how many babies. What is the?
I guess it depends on if parents have time to watch wrestling or not.
Yeah. Well, probably not. So, and they're probably not going to be watching it with their toddler. At least if it goes back to a, you know, attitude era type thing.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, I don't know how many wrestling fans have kids. What's the ratio? How many of them? I don't know. So that maybe was a bad example. Let me think of another example. You know, what is something a wrestling fan would not have no interest in? I don't know. I don't know. So stuff that wrestling fans are not interested in, you may not see as much in wrestling anymore. Okay, you know, they're going to be trying to target that predominantly male audience, you know, the 18 to 49 crowd, because wrestling's moving away from the PG, from the kid stuff, and they're going to be free from a lot of that concern about pissing off their sponsors.
Yeah.
They got to keep Slim Jim happy. They got to keep Snickers happy.
Yeah.
You know, all those big time WWE sponsors that have been there from forever, they need to be happy. Actually, Alicia, we can jump to her question before we get to James.
Okay.
Is it going to be in 4K or 90, you know, or the other quality or whatever? I imagine it's going to be in the highest quality.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be in the highest quality.
Yep.
So they're going to be free from having to worry about pissing off all these sponsors, so they can do whatever they want.
Right.
And what it's going to do, and this is the question, how is it going to affect televised pro wrestling moving forward?
Yeah.
One of the things that AEW has right now that the WWE lacks is the ability to do raunchy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the WWE, by going to Netflix, is going to be able to do whatever they want now. So AEW is going to lose more of their edge. Okay. And then on top of that, you're going to have, with SmackDown going to USA has urged the WWE to have edgier content. So you're going to close the gap on one of the things that makes AEW unique. And so you're going to see some fans that are tired of the jumping jacks that are going to move back to WWE wrestling, and the WWE is going to grow and profit from it. What you may see in return is AEW going even more extreme with their raunchiness to try to keep that gap there. And because I've been shocked at some of the stuff I've seen at AEW. I mean, it's you know, drinking blood, you know, and I mean, like, things like that. I did change my mind. That was a good match. But, you know, it shocked me. So we might see AEW become even more controversial. And so it might be good for wrestling. I mean, look at what happened in the 90s, what made wrestling into its boom period. Okay? You had the NWO and WCW having these, like, realistic angles and edgier content, and we had more and more stuff where the WWE then came along and said, okay, we're going to have Austin, we're going to have this, we're going to do that. And so all of it become a lot edgier, and it was almost like a competition, who could be the most edgier, who could break the kayfabe the most. And it got ridiculous, where WCW just got so desperate that they were willing to do just about anything to keep up with the business. And that was a big problem. So do you have any other thoughts on what the Netflix deal might do as far as professional wrestling?
So I guess I think it was, you know, kind of inevitable, wasn't it? Because, you know, more and more stuff's going to streaming. So now you mentioned AEW losing losing something because WWE is going to be able to basically do what they want, right?
Yeah.
Well, with the whole negotiations going on with AEW and Warner Discovery, there's a chance for them to go on to Max. So I feel like that's going to happen eventually. As long as the deal gets worked out, they might move to Max.
I think that would be good for AEW.
I think it would. At this point, I think it might be necessary to survive.
I think it'd be good for them too because I think there's more wrestling fans like me out there. I think there are wrestling fans like me who do not have cable. Mm-hmm. Okay, I do not have cable. I watch Raw on Hulu the next day. Mm-hmm. I watch SmackDown on Hulu the next day. Mm-hmm. The only time I ever bought cable was either to watch that stuff live or to watch AEW live. Mm-hmm. Okay. But, you know, I'm not interested enough in AEW to just pay a bunch of money in cable. Okay.
Right.
So with AEW, if they went to Max, I'd be more likely to like pay for that. And so, because I mean, that's a lot less money ordering Max than paying $60 for cable. So you're going to have a new audience that you can reach out to by going to Max. Mm-hmm. So that is the thing that's going on. So
let's get into that next question. I don't think we answered James's question.
No, we haven't. All right.
So why should he tune into wrestling again?
All right. Okay, so it's gotten better. It's gotten better. We got an opportunity to talk to somebody that has not watched wrestling in a long time.
Right.
So we're going to assume that there's a lot of things that might not be known. I don't know how much James knows about it, but we're just going to start from the bottom and move up. Okay. Yeah. So the current atmosphere of wrestling is you've got the WWE, which is, you know, formerly known as the WWF, and then you have AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling, owned by Tony Khan. Okay. So in the WWE, Vince McMahon's gone. Okay. Thank goodness that he's out. He's gone. There was a huge scandal. You probably heard about it. And he's out of the picture. In fact, he cashed out everything. He has like no control over the WWE. So TKO, which is a company that owns both the WWE and UFC, they're under one umbrella now. And the TKO is 51% UFC, 49% WWE. So it's a majority UFC, but you know WWE is still a big part of it. And on the board of WWE, you have The Rock. And over creative in WWE, you have Triple H. And you have over SmackDown. I mean, not SmackDown, but freaking the third brand.
NXT?
NXT. See, that's the thing we edit out here. Okay. In NXT, you got Shawn Michaels. Okay. So the WWE is being ran by some of the best guys in the Attitude Era right now. And it has evolved to be a much better product. Now, there are some things in the Attitude Era that we've talked about in this channel that we don't want to come back. We don't want to see bra and panty matches. We don't want to see the Vince McMahon crap where he was objectifying women and making people kiss his ass and all this other kind of stuff. We don't want to see that stuff. That Vince McMahon, anything that has the stench of Vince McMahon needs to go. And they're slowly getting all of that stuff out. Okay, so the Vince McMahon stench is starting to leave. Okay, I know Vince McMahon did a lot for wrestling in the past, and I know that Vince McMahon really made wrestling what it is today, and did these valuable contributions. But a lot of those contributions were in the past. Okay, he wasn't doing anything in the present. In the near future, he wasn't doing anything. And so, with him being gone, You got Triple H over creative. Now, Triple H has a stellar history with NXT. NXT was doing some of the best product under Triple H, and now Triple H is over the main products. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay,
in a minute.
we'll get to you, Alicia.
Yeah. So, there's going to be. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and comment on that. So right now, that's actually the case. Now, is there's more attitude. Maybe not raunchiness. That's a great question.
Great question.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a great question. That's the best question right there. We should just asked.
Yep.
So James, I want to finish my response though. There's also AEW, which is a very different product than the WWE. And I don't like it. I think it's indie, flip-flop, jumping jacks, nonsense. Where
I disagree.
They do 20 moves in one spot that's obviously choreographed.
I disagree.
And they're obviously participating with one another.
I disagree.
Doing the flips and the nonsense and the bullshit and the mud show stuff that you see in Indy. And like their average wrestler weighs 150 pounds, and it's a different product. But see, actually though, in terms of looking at wrestling as a whole, that may not be a bad thing, because if you look at wrestling in the past, like when you had WCW and WWE competing against each other, it was a lot of the same. It was a lot of the same thing. AEW is so different than the WWE that it appeals to a completely different audience, and you have crossover, but I don't think you have a whole lot. I think there are wrestling fans that watch nothing but AEW. They do not even touch the WWE,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that's a thing that's different now. Is you've got choices.
Yeah.
You've got things that you can watch.
Yep.
That are different. If you don't like what the WWE is doing, you got AEW. All right. Do you disagree with me about the flip flops and the jumping jacks?
I think if you don't like the style of wrestling that Glenn was talking about, okay, and you hate it that much, it's gonna feel like the whole promotion is that. But if you say that's all it is, then you're discounting Bryan Danielson. You're discounting
who is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I will admit.
You're discounting a lot of other guys. So you got to understand. Okay, here's another thing. In AEW, they're kind of allowed to do what they want to do, which
is the problem.
I will say that is a bit of a problem. You need to rein it in a little bit. And you will notice that a lot of guys don't look like the guys in WWE. There's some guys I just think need to put on some weight. Jack Perry needs to put on some weight. Because even against like Bryan Danielson, I just don't believe he could beat him.
And Lance is talking about muscle, not my kind of weight.
Darby Allin, I mean, come on.
Did you notice that Ricochet looked like he beefed up a little bit coming into AEW?
Not really, did he?
It looked like he did to me.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I mean, you do have a lot of wrestlers that are coming straight from the indies, okay, into AEW, and they do some of the indie stuff. And I kind of agree with what CM Punk said in his interview right before WrestleMania this year, where in the indies you can get away with that, but you can't get away with it on a nationally televised program.
Yeah.
So I do think they need to clean it up. I just don't think AEW is as bad as Glenn's making it out to be.
I'm saying
give it a chance.
Okay. You've advocated for your friends.
Yes.
Alicia's question. I definitely want to address that one.
Okay, well, so first off, she said, so with less restrictions and more raunchiness on Netflix, why should women watch? I feel like these two things are connected, right? So I want to correct raunchiness a little bit with just more, PG-13 rated R stuff.
You might have a wrestler say a curse word.
Yeah, they're not gonna say I'm gonna kick your butt. They might actually say a cuss word.
I'm gonna beat your head
There's
in.
more, yeah. There's just more. It's like like watching a PG-13 movie or a rated R movie. They're not going to hold back the language as much. They're not going to hold back the content as much.
Now, I don't think it should be like the Attitude Era.
Right, no.
Where, it's 90 curse words a minute, crotch chops, and all this other kind of stuff.
Right. That's why I don't like the word raunchiness, that it's going to be more raunchy, because that makes it sound like the Attitude Era when women only served one purpose, which was business. Right.
Okay, so...
so as far as why should women watch, is because women's wrestling is on fire, I think, is the way you can sum it up right now.
Yeah, women's wrestling is the best it's been since probably the golden era of women's of wrestling.
Yeah, but it's still way beyond that, though.
I would say so, yeah.
Like, way beyond that.
Yeah. So, so in our lifetime, we do have a whole podcast that we did about women's wrestling, and it goes all the way to like Cora Livingston, the first women's world champion, which I didn't know was shortly after the first men's world champion.
1 year after.
Until I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, so women's wrestling really
1905 and then 1906 for the women.
Yeah. So women's wrestling right now is the best it's ever been. The storylines are legitimate. They're not. It's not like the Attitude Era where women were being objectified, and it was all about eye candy and all that kind of stuff. Women's wrestling is handled with the same degree of reverence and respect that men's wrestling is. Although I feel like they've slipped a little bit with the WWE on that. I have not seen as many women's main events lately. But there has been women main eventing WrestleMania. There was even 2 black women that were main evented WrestleMania. Not this last year, but the year before. With formerly known as Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné versus Bianca Belair, and phenomenal match. So the women's quality of wrestling, they're putting on. Actually, I've argued that right now, women's wrestling is actually better than men's wrestling, and hear me out on this. Okay, so when I watch Charlotte Flair, or when I watch Mercedes Moné, or when I watch Bayley, or any of the great female wrestlers, Rhea Ripley, almost all of them are versatile, okay? In men's wrestling, wrestlers tend to follow into a niche, and they get stuck in it. So you got Ricochet, he's a high flyer, You've got wrestler like Batista, he's a power wrestler. You got a wrestler like Bret Hart, he's a technical wrestler. Okay, so they get stuck into these niches. So in women's wrestling, the wrestlers, almost all of them, can do multiple things. Let me use as an example Bianca Belair. Okay, she can do power wrestling. Okay, she can press somebody over her head, throw them around like a rag doll. She can do the technical stuff. She can do the high flying. Okay, she's this insane athlete. Okay, that can do anything. She's like, she kind of reminds me of like a Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley. They can do like early, especially early in their career, that could do all kinds of stuff. They were just this, athletically gifted people beyond imagination. Okay. Charlotte Flair, who I think is the best probably wrestler on the female side. I've gone on record saying that as far as in ring, she's better than her father. Now, she can't measure up to Ric Flair, her father, on the microphone, okay? Which that's about as impossible. You're talking about like one of the greatest talkers of all time. But she beats him, who he's one of the best wrestlers of all time, in-ring wrestlers. She beats him in the ring. She took his move and did a daggum backwards handstand thing with the figure four and called it the figure eight. She does moonsaults off the top rope onto the outside. So the women's matches are the best they've ever done. Women are treated very respectfully in wrestling now. There's plenty to watch in the men's side that's interesting, and there's also a lot of interaction between the men and the women in wrestling. Now, they don't fight in the WWE. The WWE does not allow that because they're concerned about what it looks like, you know. Because you could take a snippet of a match. I mean,
yeah,
I'm all for intergender matches if they're done right. You know, China was a former Intercontinental Champion, and that actually happened in the Attitude Era. But they don't want to have like people take snippets of a match where there's like a man punching a woman, even if the woman wins the match in the end, because it looks like domestic violence. So they take all that stuff out, but they do have interaction between the men and the women. So yeah, it's not raunchy or degrading toward women like what it used to be. And I've seen little girls get into wrestling. Actually, I remember going to a wrestling show. I was at a SmackDown, and Bianca Belair. There was like a 8-woman tag match or whatever, and you had like Bianca Belair's team, and back in the day, Becky Lynch was a heel, and she had her team, and I was still a Becky Lynch fan, so I was cheering for Becky Lynch. And this little girl turned around and gave me like the evilest look you can imagine. She was a huge Bianca Belair fan, okay? And so we're seeing a lot of women, a lot of girls looking up to these women as role models in the same way that a lot of boys would look up to the guys in wrestling as a role model. And my concern, though, okay, back to the raunchiness part.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that does concern me about Alicia's question. I'm scared that they're going to go too far with going away from the PG content. I don't want it to go back to, okay, on the far end of the PG content, back in the PG era, if a wrestler got accidentally busted open in a match, they would stop the match and they would stop the bleeding before they would continue the match. That's ridiculous. Okay. But the current product right now, I would still call it family friendly. And you mentioned families, diaper commercials and stuff like that, baby wipe commercials. Right now, and I've brought this up before, I have an 80-year-old dad, okay? Right now with the current product, I'm comfortable with my dad watching WWE. AEW less so, okay? If they make it to higher rating, I'm scared that they're going to get rid of that family-friendly part of it, and that it's going to turn off a lot of viewers. But as far as what's going on in women's wrestling, it's the best it's ever been.
So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up that because you completely left out the AEW women. So I've said before that currently I think the best wrestler in the world right now is Toni Storm. combine her ring ability, her gimmick, her promo skills. It's the whole package. So if you want to see, in my opinion, the best women's wrestler, look up Toni Storm. Watch her promos, watch her matches. Just to explain her gimmick a little bit, she's doing I guess it's like a, I don't know if golden era is the right phrase, but like a golden era actress,
like a pinup
model actress. Yeah, from like the 30s or 40s or something. And she dresses like it. Her ring gear is like from that era. It's that style. Even her hairstyle is from that period. So if you, and it's great.
And she doesn't break character for anything.
And she didn't. No. She will not break kayfabe to save her life.
I mean, like, even in like non-kayfabe press conferences,
yes,
she's in character.
If you want to see some good stuff, watch her press conferences after pay-per-views. It is hilarious. But they do it up real good. You know, she has this like glamorous entrance music, and when she comes out, the screen turns to black and white. So anytime that she's on the screen, it's in black and white. They've even gone so far as to when she's, in a standoff with, the person she's feuding with, her side of the screen will be black and white, and her opponent's side will be in color. So they really got all out for this gimmick. So I really recommend watching her stuff.
I wouldn't go as far as to say she's the best wrestler in the world right now, but she's incredibly good.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first saw her in the new gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know. Is this going to be some weird AEW nonsense stuff?
Well, it was new. That's another thing about this gimmick. It is fresh and new. I don't think anybody's ever done this. At least not to
my knowledge.
To this extent.
Yeah, and then I bought it. I bought the gimmick.
Yeah.
And everything she's done has been amazing since then. I do want to address the AEW one.
Okay. Because there's plenty of other. I mean, your girl, Mercedes Moné. That's your girl.
Yeah, I know. I'm still mad that she left.
But yeah, you got plenty of other good talent there. You got Mercedes Moné. You got Britt Baker.
Okay, I called Charlotte Flair the best female wrestler in the world. Probably my favorite female wrestler, though, is Mercedes Moné. And she's in AEW. So what can I do?
Yeah. You can watch AEW.
I can watch AEW. That's all I can do about it. And she's excellent. She's versatile, as I mentioned. She can do the aerial stuff. She can do the technical stuff. She can do. She's not really a power wrestler. She's not extremely strong, but she's got great character work. Great on the mic. Just great everywhere. And Britt Baker is another wrestler.
And you want to talk about why women should watch? Britt Baker is a good example. She is so her gimmick is that she's a dentist because she's actually a real practicing dentist.
Yeah. Okay, in wrestling, like we've had like garbage people and cops and like Mounties and like
and undertakers.
Yeah, undertakers and prisoners and like clowns.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s or whatever. Like her gimmick is that she's a dentist because she's a dentist.
Mm-hmm.
Like she works at a practice. You can go down in where does she work at? Tampa?
Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go down there and sign up for an appointment to get your like.
Actually, you can't anymore.
You can't.
No,
she's too popular.
Yeah, because she had a problem with fans going up there to get autographs and stuff. People were actually showing up to her office while she was working to get autographs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I think she's like I don't know if you call it a private dentist or something, but I think she hand selects her patients or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Never mind then. You can't just show up there.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I said, I'm going to get my teeth cleaned in Orlando so I can meet Britt Baker, I mean.
But yeah, she did a match. They do a show every year in September, which I think is coming up, called Grand Slam, where they have it in Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York, the U.S. Open tennis venue. And I think it was like 2 years ago, she main evented with, I can't remember who. I want to say it was Ruby Soho, I think. Anyway, she main evented that match. Now keep in mind, this is on Dynamite, so it doesn't end until 10 o'clock on a Monday. After the match, which was right at the end of the show, she takes a red-eye flight from New York to Orlando, and she was back at work at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's
And she puts on some of the best matches. she puts on some of the best matches.
Yeah.
So, in wrestling, it's been called the women's revolution in wrestling, and it all started with the 4 horsewomen, which was if everybody knows about the 4 horsemen, all right. Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné, and Becky Lynch. That's basically those 4 catapulted. They started off at NXT together. They catapulted women's wrestling into the era that is in now. And like I said, it's honestly better than the men's stuff. It's by every measure. And I had stopped watching wrestling for a while, okay? And the women's wrestling actually, got me into it.
Yeah.
Lance, did you have anything else you want to talk about? We got 2 viewers.
Well, I mean, we
3 viewers.
back to 3. I'll show you what I did, Drew. So you saw the Raw background that I had up because I thought we were going to talk about Raw a little bit, but we took questions instead. But I also made.
Should we end the live stream?
Well, I mean, we don't have to. Well, where the hell did it go? Oh, here we go.
That's awesome.
Now I need to drag this down. Drag it up. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I don't know if you have you watched Raw or SmackDown from this past week?
No.
See, that's the thing. I haven't had time. I watched some clips. Apparently,
Cody Rhodes fought in a cage match on SmackDown.
Yeah, and apparently it's going to be I guess a tag match at Bad Blood. Roman and Cody versus Solo and Jacob, I guess. That's all I really know.
All right, I think I'm done, Lance.
Let's where are we ending the show at? 2. No, people have questions. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, we got more. I'd love to hear Lance's opinion of AEW because I think he might have a different perspective. I gave my thoughts, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I think we answered that.
Okay. Well, when did this come in? Because these...
We didn't see these questions for some reason.
Yeah. These just popped up.
Okay, let's address these questions.
Okay. She said no, people have... okay, so James, I think someone like Conor McGregor would be good for wrestling. Can you think of any other mainstream athletes that would work? Now, we've done videos on this, on celebrities and other athletes coming into wrestling, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
I will admit that I don't know anything enough about other... I don't know enough about sports to say who would be good for wrestling.
I think Conor McGregor could if he could, but because he can run his mouth. He's definitely run his mouth. In real life. I mean, MMA is a real sport. But I don't know how doing that style would translate to wrestling, though. I think you got to kind of, mold it into a wrestling promo. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, okay, so I think he could, and he's a good athlete, but, he probably doesn't need to. I saw the other day where, Dwight Howard, the basketball player, was talking about getting into WWE, but his knees are beat up really bad from all his playing years. But I don't know, mainstream athletes. I guess it doesn't have to be athletes though. Is there anybody else? Actors? I don't know. Have we seen anybody lately that's transitioned over to wrestling? Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, who I actually like.
I fucking hate Logan Paul.
Logan Paul is a better wrestler than he ever had any right to be.
Yeah.
He just shows up in wrestling.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time when I see an actor or a celebrity or an athlete that didn't go through, earn their, go through the indies and, earn their place or whatever, I'm like, oh, my God, this is going to be awful. But then Logan Paul shows up, and he's just awesome. He's just awesome. He has a wrestling gene or something in his body. I don't understand it. How is this guy so good? And he just shows up, barely any training, and puts on matches better than people that have been in the business for 10 years. I don't understand it. And he's main evented, okay? The guy is insanely good. If he wanted to go into wrestling full time, he would have an insane career in professional wrestling. I would totally support Logan Paul coming to wrestling full time. He doesn't need to. He's got millions, but if he wanted to, he could. I think our three are Alicia, James, and the guy that likes Vince Russo.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the guy that likes Vince Russo, I don't think we answered this. Do either of you foresee a day where Tony Khan completely gives up the book and allows the creative team to take control of AEW storylines? I feel like the only way he would do that is if the company's almost completely dead for real, and you didn't have a choice. That's just the way it feels right now to me.
It's like me with my little action figures when I was a kid. I thought I was the best booker in the world. Okay, well he's a billionaire with action figures, and except for the real people.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say too bad about Tony Khan, because the worst thing I can say about Tony Khan is he's a bad booker.
Right.
Vince McMahon's a terrible person.
Yeah.
So at least he's not Vince McMahon.
Yeah. So for the two new people watching us today, there is a Vince McMahon documentary coming out on Netflix on the 25th. And it is supposed to be, completely bury Vince McMahon.
Okay, Vince McMahon has done some outright, if you haven't heard about it in the news, it's worth looking up. He's done some outright terrible stuff. And, yeah, it's bad. Opinion on Hugh Jackman. Isn't Hugh Jackman, old?
Yeah.
50 now?
It kind of surprises me he's still playing Wolverine. He's the guy who plays Wolverine, right?
Yeah. That Deadpool movie was that was him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he could handle it.
I don't know, dude. Did you see his body in that movie?
Yeah, but we're talking about taking bumps several times, several nights a week.
but could he wrestle just one match though?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think he could. Yeah, I think he could have a one-off. Yeah, but it needs to make sense though. There needs to be a reason, and it needs to be able to draw.
And you can't come there and be the Wolverine. That'd be a bad gimmick.
Yeah.
And he can't call himself the Rabid Wolverine, because that invokes something bad. See, there you go. I said something I shouldn't have said.
You see, we can't take that out now.
No, we can't take that out. It's there.
It's on the internet.
We talked about him.
It's on the internet.
We brought him up.
Yeah.
So another person that doesn't have a place in wrestling anymore.
Yeah. Does anyone? Well, we're back to 6.
We're back to 6. Okay.
We haven't broke 6. Come on, somebody, jump on.
Shake to see if we got any more comments.
Okay.
Scroll down. Okay.
If we
got any more comments, this is last call.
Here we go.
Oh, there's more comments.
Deadpool can do it. as Deadpool. Yeah, actually he could. Deadpool would make sense.
Yeah.
That would definitely make sense.
Well, no, we don't. We don't need to have that. We've already had RoboCop in wrestling.
But
RoboCop actually has appeared.
He rescued Sting.
Yeah, he rescued Sting.
Yeah,
that actually happened.
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't believe me, look it up.
Yeah.
Why are we missing stuff to the comments? Like, why is it not like scrolling up automatically?
Well, it did just then when these two popped up.
Okay. Those were instant.
Yeah.
Any more comments or questions? So this is last call. Like, we're at the bar here. Last call for alcohol.
You see, I gotta figure out. Yeah, I thought when you started a live stream that it alerted your subscribers, but I guess not. That might be under control of the subscribers themselves. So, we're down to 4.
We're losing people.
Oh, wait, hang on,
No more questions or comments. All right, Lance, let's call it a day.
All right. See y'all later.
Thank y'all for listening. Bye.